Yeah, this is going to be fine. This is going to be good. This is going to be a great show.
No.
We just drop into live, and it's like we say it's going to be a good show, and then they're just dead silent.
Well, I don't know. I thought we weren't supposed to talk.
Yeah, what is this, a podcast?
I don't know what
We're
we're
not
supposed to do,
talk.
Tim.
Just
I'm so embarrassed by not being on the show hardly at all because I'm traveling and teaching so much. I'm like, I'm going to try to make this work tonight, and that's failing.
I think it's working great.
Yeah.
I still wonder, do you not have electricity?
Okay.
Or working
I feel like you logged in after the start of this situation
and
missed an important detail.
I have to sit outside, which I don't have lights outside because because if I go inside, then I have no internet connection, or it's worse, internet connection. So I'm sitting outside trying to pull down.
This is
5G.
crappy. Would you rather?
I just, yeah, it's bad, Tim. I'll call you tomorrow and give you the whole story.
Oh, I got a story
But
for you.
yeah, it's bad. Oh, go for it.
Well, no, it's not. Definitely not public story.
Definitely not a public story.
No.
No. Does it involve Kerberoasting, a government entity, Tim?
God, I wish.
I mean, how does it feel that your shit is in Congress? Like a congressperson, a senator, brought up your technique to attack Microsoft.
It's weird.
directly.
Like why? Like the fact the word came out of a senator's mouth just blows my mind.
I know,
especially 11 years later.
Yeah, I mean, they probably took the SANS class. It's fine.
Yeah, the senators are taking SANS classes or his new Red Siege classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should tell them about the low cost alternatives we have.
I don't get how your tool or your technique is brought up, and I'm the one that's clearly in the witness relocation program right now. How does that shit work? For the record, everybody, I am not Tim Medine. Please let me back into the country.
Can you be like Dark John today and just only say things that like that regular John wouldn't say?
John?
Dark John.
Like I'm the opposite of BSD Bandit.
Yes, it's like an alter ego. It's like we should take on VC money like ASAP. Trying to cash out and get my McLaren soon.
Burnout's real because you suck at your burnout's real because you suck at your job and God's trying to tell you something.
Oh, can we do a return to office? Black Hills return to office?
Okay,
oh my God.
BHIS return to office in Sturgis, right?
John, are you at that brothel in Germany again?
I'm not at what? How did I get there?
The family-friendly brothel.
That was Amsterdam.
So glad
That's an actual true story. That is a true story.
Oh,
Mary Ellen, you didn't sign that NDA.
You know, the context matters because I was there with my wife and kids too. Don't forget the rest of that.
Family-friendly.
Oh,
It was.
Yep.
all right, now that we're demonetized, let's roll the finger and start the show.
That's what demonetized us.
Great job.
Right.
Great work. Hello and welcome to Black Hills Information Security's Talkin Bout News. It's September 15th, 2025. Let's go. We got star-studded cast, but actually for real this time. We got John Hammond, we got Tim Medine, we got Dark John, we got our regular, normal crew that we have. So I think we could start by saying, I guess, Tim, you curb roasted the government? Is that what happened? I saw the news article. Are you going to jail or what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, you want the backstory? So the Ascension Health, which is a big healthcare provider, was compromised, late last year. And Senator Wyden from Oregon wrote a letter to the chairman of the FTC saying, hey, Microsoft's got to stop supporting these old protocols, specifically called out RC4, and then lots of news stuff related to some of that thing. So it was interesting to hear. We're like 2 weeks almost to the dot of when 11 years after Kerberoasting came out, and now we're talking about it again. Still, I don't know what the right word is, but it was fascinating to hear that discussion about RC4 and not so much the passwords. Although there's some. I mean, what's your guys' take? I get some more inside info, maybe.
I was impressed by it too. I mean, obviously, I did vote for this guy, so full disclosure, I'm kind of a fanboy. But the letter got like increasingly more technical than I would have expected. Like I was learning things. I was like, oh, they're deprecating RC4. Interesting. I didn't know that. Apparently, they like announced that a couple weeks ago or a month ago or something, and haven't actually done it. Or how long has it been that they're trying to deprecate RC4?
Well, it's the one interesting thing in Microsoft's response is that they said that they qualified it. Basically, if you're setting up a new domain controller for a new domain, new forest, then it would be disabled. So
which no one is.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
Right, because any new company is just going straight cloud, right? So it's, to some degree, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So, Tim, I got a question kind of going back to the beginning. Could you tell us how many cons rejected your talk on Kerberoasting before you?
I got rejected from DEF CON, which I was really wanted to speak at DEF CON. Black Hat rejected me. DEF CON rejected me. I had my code mostly working, and a lot of it was by hand, and they said, your code's not ready, so we're going to reject you. Which, if you've ever been to DEF CON, the big free spot on the bingo card is I was working on my code last night. So, but I mean, it was 8 different conferences rejected it, which to be fair, sounded crazy at the time. It's like, yeah, have an offline brute force service accounts without lockout, without sending a single packet to the service. It's like, okay, old man, like whatever you say, why don't you, you're not allowed to come to our conference either because you're clearly going to violate codes of conduct. Like it was, I wasn't good at explaining it is the short version of that, but it was a lot of them. But then finally, Dave.
And then the other thing, if they got this excited over Kerberoast and legacy protocol, should we tell them about NetBIOS name services, WPAD, LLM&R? The fact that LAN and NV2 are actually clear text authentic. It's like how we want to go, and I'm glitching.
Well, and that's the interesting thing that they brought up is they're like, hey, these old protocols need to go away. And of course, the deeper discussion is how do you balance backward compatibility with security, right? And it's tough because if I'm making a business decision, I want my systems to stay up. I don't want them to go offline with an update. But at the same time, at some point, you got to draw a line in the sand. It's just a. Also,
what about the just struggling pen testers out there on an internal pen test that just don't have another option? Okay, they're ADCS, nothing to exploit. Kerberoasting's all you got. It's like your gift. Also, can't you still Kerberoast even if RC4 is disabled? Like, there's another hash type, right? But
yeah, so that's one interesting thing related to this article. So you can still do Kerberoasting with AES 128 256. It's just that it's about, depends on the benchmarks, about 1,000 times slower. The info that I've gathered on the Ascension breach related to Kerberoasting, I don't have this verified, just to be clear, is that it took weeks or months for them to crack this specific password, which means if they had actually used AES rather, it effectively would have taken years, plural,
it never would
for
have
them
happened.
to crack, which would realistically means that bad guys give up. So it kind of brings the RC4 matters, even though the fundamental problem here is a crackable, guessable password.
Yeah, and I mean, in most environments, there are other channels to domain privilege elevation, right? But Kerberoasting is like the direct and easy path. Like that is like in most, I mean, it's either that or ADCS, right? Like, or maybe what John said, but we're seeing decrease of that at like LLM&R and over time. But I don't know. It's cool. I think overall, I agree. Like, there is a part of me as a pen tester. It's like, how long is Microsoft going to keep getting away with this? Because constantly I have to tell clients, oh yeah, sorry, that's a default Microsoft thing. And there's a long list of those, right? So this is one more. I guess they've said they're going to deprecate it, but I mean, how do you even go about doing this? Wouldn't everyone be upset if Microsoft was like, oh, it's just off. Everyone who had it, now it's off and you don't support RC4. And then like, there's a CrowdStrike type deal where some vendor stuff just goes down because they're somehow using Kerberos and RC4.
Well, and I would guess that would be the case too, because if you've got that old system that doesn't support AES, there's a reason you have that old system because it freaking matters, and it's probably critically important. So I think you would have that. It's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
I mean, I would think that would affect OT systems such as the electrical grid, the water, the critical systems out there that we all know have to have a bunch of these legacy protocols. I mean, some of them we know run Windows 95 still. They're running NT4 still because that's what the software runs on, and they can't bring it up to date, or at least not up to date yet, without shutting everything down for the most part.
So, and if I don't know, if you don't know, Tim, don't let me put you on the spot, but do you know with Ascension, like, did they have a reason to have RC4 enabled, or was it just a default thing like they just had?
It just sounds like it was default. I don't have any inside knowledge on that, but it just sounds. I mean, it's the default unless you explicitly go in and turn it off. It's there. It's available.
So there's a list of people who, if you disable RC4, it'll break everything. Then there's a probably much larger list of people who just have it because it's default and don't actually need it. So if you run a domain, go disable RC4. See what breaks.
If you want to figure out which systems need RC4, you can turn on the auditing for Kerberoasting. I think it's 4729, if I remember correctly. Look for explicitly the RC4 tickets. Set up your policy. Disable RC4 for everything except those specific systems, and then develop a plan to get rid of those. And also make sure those service accounts have a good password. You've got to mitigate.
Yeah, and another way to find out
about this.
Well, another way to find out what relies on it is just turn it off and see what breaks and who complains.
Well, there's that, Mister. I want to set the world on fire. But yeah.
We actually do have customers who do that, and they're my favorite customers. Anything else on the Kerberoasting thing?
Well, I would just think that they can make a lot of progress just without actually removing RC4, pushing an update that just turns it off as a default, like makes the default something actually decent out of the AES. And then, yes, a lot of things break, but a lot of things break for 20 minutes to a day while a sysadmin goes, oh, no, I have to turn that one back on. Like, you're absolutely right about the auditing and how to be careful and how to deal with it yourself right now. But if they want to fix how many places are wide open, just pushing the defaults over and like making it actually push the defaults instead of stay the way it was.
Well, the key is that I can request the RC4 because Microsoft actually responded back and said RC4 consists of 0.1%. So 99.9% is good, but to some degree that's irrelevant because I can request the RC4. And as an attacker, that's what I want. That it's because it's available to me makes this issue exist. The fact that everything else, when plays properly, uses AES doesn't really matter because I'm like, well, I'm just going to downgrade.
Yeah, that's the same with NTLM v1.
Right.
Same exact situation. It's like most machines use NTLM v2, but there's like it supports NTLM v1, so it doesn't matter. Like you don't get security, you get an option to enable security.
Right.
All right. I think that's a good coverage of the Kerberoasting thing, unless anyone has any final takes. The other thing we have Mr. John Hammond here to discuss is the very widely thrown Huntress blog, which I guess we were joking before the show that it's drama. I don't really personally see it as drama. I mean, I guess, John, like how many people actually reacted negatively to this? And I saw some like hot comments on LinkedIn, which like somehow it's like LinkedIn is just the Facebook of security. I don't really know what's going on, but like were people upset about this? Like why?
Yeah. Short answer is yeah. Some people were upset about it. So I was super excited to kind of help get this blog out the door because I think it is a super cool story of like, threat intelligence, kind of seeing what a cyber criminal does for their day-to-day work, their operations. And we were really hoping, the education would be all on that, on the threat actor antics, what a hacker's up to. So I had helped scream and shout and got it out on Twitter and on LinkedIn. And I think that is really where the fire started to burn a little bit. The Twitter post had a lot of different comments kind of wondering, hey, is what you've done, seeing and observing a threat actor doing threat actor things, is that an invasion of privacy? Are there like ethical concerns? Does this make you any different from a criminal? which was a surprising reaction, truth be told. And there's the chatter on LinkedIn just as well. Somehow it got to the front page of Hacker News, and it was all a little bit over Reddit. And I had to help some folks understand, I think, that this is what a managed security solution does to, hey, dig into malware and investigate the endpoints when you have security operations center analysts that investigate malware alerts on an endpoint. So look, I don't know. I'm more interested in your hot take. What do you all think? I see the perspective. I understand, but I still think this is now just a standing ground for the education.
I guess I would say it's not hacking back if they deployed your incident response agent on their machine. But that's not hacking back. That's like me coming into your house and being like, "Hey man, your door is super unsafe here. Why'd you let me in?" Like, it doesn't make any sense to, like, they literally gave you access to their information. So I'm sure they signed a license agreement, an end user agreement that said, by installing this software, you are going to share this information with us. By doing this, it's bulletproof from my perspective. But
that's the part that confuses me the most.
That's the question that I want to.
Did they read the EULA?
Is there was the EULA, but from what I see of stories is that there's stuff that was captured before they installed the tool. So when you go, it's like, how could they, did they retroactively agree to that, saying, hey, as soon as I install this tool, yeah, you're capturing metrics, but if I install this tool and you're then publishing screenshots of the things that I did before, and yeah, I can defer to better knowledge. Yeah,
Alex, it's perfectly cool because they installed Disney Plus. They signed up.
Fun fact, that actually got shut down. We talked about it last week, but yeah. So John, what's your take on that? Like, do you have a reaction to that statement?
So a lot of folks, again, are wondering about, okay, the trial, and then yes, those terms of service, those privacy policy, the EULA that they would accept by installing the product. And it is a managed security solution, and the trial includes everything. And they went through and clicked the box. They checked managed EDR, managed ITDR, and managed SIEM solutions. So it was actively sending the logs and artifacts because that's what they chose. Yeah. But to the point of, John, okay, what about the things before?
John, sorry. What if they didn't know what those things were?
This is where you kind of have to say this is a thing for businesses.
You can't tell because it's dark, but I'm giving my jackass face. Just assume
it's like attacker natural selection at that point, I think.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
But to the question of, okay, what about the things that look like they came from prior to the Huntress installation? Because the agent, it was only installed for like an hour and a half. Once the SOC sees and is investigating the alerts and understands this is a bad actor, we terminated their trial and uninstall the agent. But because they're doing the work to investigate malware, how did it get on the computer? That means retrieving and tasking Windows event logs and browser history for files, downloaded malware that could come from a browser, as most tend to do. And that is where folks really had the confusion, I think, or the misconception of this was some weeks, month-long surveillance thing. But no, that's the browser history artifacts. And then recreating the screenshots of what the hacker saw were by clicking the link or going to the URL to see what that was.
It's key to note here. It is your choice how long you choose to maintain your data on your computer. If you have your browser history never delete, that is your choice. If you have, if you never clear your own data off your computer, it's there forever. And so if in the future, like a tool collects that information, whether it be an EDR you installed or an info stealer you installed, that information is at present date and however far back you decided to keep it, right?
I mean, there's at least some solace in, people talk about in the security space. Sometimes our end users do things that are very questionable and we struggle with those things. At least the attackers also suffer from the same stuff. We're like, what did you hope to gain by doing this? Where did you think this would go well for you? So I just don't understand the thought process behind, hey, I'm going to download this and I'm going to run it and we'll see what happens.
For testing. to bypass it.
Oh, of
Yep.
course,
Yeah.
yes.
100%.
I mean, that part makes sense. However, there is a byproduct to that they clearly didn't anticipate.
Correct. Yeah, testing EDRs and SIMs is one thing. Doing it on your like main bad guy computer, which by the way, I think this is a detail, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but which had the same host name they were using to attack other computers. So like you had the ability to pick up that they were a threat actor based on their host name because they had used the same host name in previous attacks, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And this, I'll admit, are where we should have had a little bit more in the blog. So I'm trying to help get a little bit more context out the door. And I hope I can get a silly, stupid YouTube video out to kind of cover a lot of this. But we had found other partners' credentials on the hacker's computer. And that is what kind of, hey, okay, now this is a real threat. This is something where, okay, it's affecting other companies. And we know and confirm that because it attests for other individuals we protect.
Yeah, and it's also just not that different from any threat actor. Like, go read any Mandiant blog or any blog about a threat actor. Their habits, their hours they work, their browser history, tools they use. Like, this is just what incident reports look like from my perspective. And like, I do think like normalize publishing incident reports for stuff. Like, I think, I mean, that's obviously what we do at Black Hills, not publish incident reports, but our mindset is, if you can make it public, make it public. So like me, for one, I think, this made the community stronger. And also just an OPSEC warning for hackers. Like if you're a pen tester, you got to have better OPSEC than this. You got to assume the same is happening.
Since I don't understand much, what was the arguments against this? Was it like Hunter violated the privacy? If so, how? Like, what were the big concerns?
That was one of them. There are a good handful, but the privacy concern is the big one. Is Huntress spyware? Is the EDR a command and control?
Yes.
Is what you've been doing exfiltrating or stealing customer info? And a lot of things with that. There are a couple wondering points of, how come you can remotely uninstall the agent? A couple different things here and there, but mostly kind of center around, was this ethical to put out this information? Did you dox this threat actor? And what was the threat actor's privacy?
There was no webcam photo. It was fine.
Yeah, it wasn't like that big Mandiant report where you started showing their pictures in the buildings they worked.
Yeah. Like compared to, like, I don't know, even the people who go after like scammers and overseas, like those people are like on the live camera feeds for these people being like, hey, what's up? I see you just got a burrito for lunch or whatever. The people are like, what?
I'm curious too on the people who say it was a privacy violation, where they're from. Like, are they European where they have the stronger GDPR and just a self, I don't know what the right words are, but their view of privacy versus an American company, it's like, you mess with me, we're going to dump it all, sort of a situation. Like, I have to think that's a significant line in that sand.
Yeah, I think there were some good snippets of information that the community just took out of context. Like, they didn't have that context, and you had a lot of people just jump on for, getting the likes or thumbs up or getting the traffic and being like, I am going to come at this looking as though like Hunters had ill intent, because I can't be bothered to understand the context, so I'm just going to go full force with the ill intent. Which, you read something in like a small 255 character hot take, they don't have time for context. They just want to have that retweeted and reblogged and just go from there.
Because saying cool report is not going to get you any likes.
Good job, guys. Doesn't get you like.
Well, I mean, the practical aspect that they wanted to take it to court, they got to like file under their own name and be like, I'm Vladimir.
This is the classic. This guy stole all my drugs.
Right.
That's the scenario.
Right? Yes.
Right.
Like it's not going to go well.
It's like the insanity plea or something.
But also, I think a lot of this is because it was a juicy, exciting report, and I think it got broader looks than a lot of these things get, and it was enticing. So people listened through a lot, but a lot of them didn't know what they were looking at and are not people who understand. Like, they may know there's an EDR running because their company does a thing, but that doesn't mean they know anything about how it works.
Yeah, they're in for a very rude awakening when they understand how EDRs work that they're trying to deploy.
Gosh.
Right.
Yes, and that was my take too. Like, there was a CISO or someone who posted like, I would never buy Huntress. I'm like, well, what product would you buy? None. If you wouldn't buy a product that collects information on the behaviors of the users that install the product, that's specifically designed for analyzing behaviors of the users who install the product, I don't know what product you'd buy, like Clam AV, I guess. I don't know.
And I don't get that either, because it's like, I don't want one that looks at my browser history. Cool. Guess what? You're blind. With any of your user activity. Like, I don't want that.
That isn't how forensic images work. Like, what does a forensic image collect? Everything.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And then it's up to the responder to deal with that data ethically. And that's what that's how MDR works.
Yeah. It's just typical social media.
And MDR, intent. What's the difference between EDR and a C2? Intent. Like, they all have the same functionality. It's just, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah. It's all about context. As people just see something and they see 50 characters of it and they get all ticked off and then they decide to run with it. Like, I looked at the article at first and I was like, wait, what happened? And then with a little bit of critical thinking in about 5 seconds, I realized what was actually going on in that article. And I was a little confused why people were so ticked off about that. I mean, I guess if you're not technical, maybe, I can't remember who made the point, but specifically like European GDPR, like that kind of stuff, I can understand, I guess, sort of where they were originally trying to come from, but then it just became like an echo chamber that was probably like 80% bots. So
yeah, I mean, there's some good points in Discord, like Jeff brings up, that, Velociraptor, which is an incident response tool, has been used for, by threat actors to distribute malware. I mean, I could tell you, if you read enough incident reports, you'll realize that threat actors always go after EDR and they use it for persistence. Yeah. Because I mean, if you can literally run response commands on any machine, and even if it's air gapped, I mean, in most cases, depending on how it's air gapped, but if it's segmented, you could still use EDR to control it. So,
because in the Black Hills SOC, we have a detection for Velociraptor and we use it, but also we would love to know when somebody else is using it that isn't us.
Totally.
So, I mean, anything can be used for evil. I mean, I imagine when Screen Connect and TeamViewer and stuff were made, that wasn't the original intention, but here we are.
Yeah. And as for recording stuff and having all those details, like, there are plenty of like HR cases to where it comes to the conclusion of, it's like, you do know that we saw all of that stuff that you did. Like, that's all recorded. Like, you thought you were being sneaky by trying to take, like, the sales contact info and transferring that out of the company, thinking that we're not going to see that. Like, no, we log a lot of stuff there that when HR asks us to find that stuff, we can find it.
Oh, but I put subject confidential in there. So
I put confidential in it. Like, the IT team absolutely cannot look into that file or recreate voice calls.
Well, no, but that's very much a U.S. centric piece there, because I went to a talk. Yeah. It was someone from New Zealand, and they had an American lawyer, and in New Zealand, the person had on their desktop a folder named something like personal or something like that, and the IT team was not allowed to look in because of privacy, which is mind-blowing when it comes to, like, us Americans. We're like, we don't have privacy, right? Like, it's just that cultural and the legal stuff that's implemented in those different countries.
That is true. A lot of what we're saying here with privacy and expectations of privacy are US-centric approaches, although I have to assume EDRs and MDRs who operate in Europe probably have the same data collection. Maybe not, but I would guess they do.
I imagine you agree to it when you install.
So a couple of things about that. First thing, the new iPhones are waterproof because it's raining, and I think that's fantastic. But a lot of I don't know who said that I need to go get a hoodie, but the hoodie is coming in very beneficial now as it is raining. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
we can hear it.
It's raining.
Are your words dripping away like tears in the rain?
It is. Oh my gosh, a Blade Runner reference.
Nice.
Time to go now.
Wow.
You said your phone's waterproof? You should show it to us.
Dark John is so emo. I love it.
I'm a little worried about
it. It's raining. He's in the dark in his hoodie, just getting wet.
That's how much I love you guys. Anyway. That's how much I love you guys. But a lot of SOCs and MDRs, German companies tend to be more insane than the rest of the EU. But a lot of other organizations, what they do if they're doing MSP, MSSP, MDR, is they set up specific siloed instances for each one of their customers. And then those systems are usually siloed in such a way that it's owned and managed by that customer technically, and then the MSP MDR comes in and manages it for them. So it's a really weird kind of dance. Somebody said my studio effects are on point. Just, you know what? I've had better internet coverage on the side of a mountain than in town tonight. But no, GDPR is a weird space. It's a really weird space. I remember I once had some lawyers. They were like, we can track nothing of our users on how they connect to the internet. And I started going through initial sequence numbers and TCP/IP, and I literally had a lawyer in Germany tell me, we need to shut this TCP/IP thing down. If it's tracking people and their connections on the internet, we need to shut this down right now. And I'm like, I'm just going to stand back and let this shit play out. And it was a delightful meeting. So.
Nice. All right. I think we're
so
moving on
cold.
to normal articles now, unless anyone has any final hot takes, John, or anyone else final thoughts on.
My final thought is Huntress, good job on what you did there. I stand.
Yeah.
We can fill in
PR thing and go down that rabbit hole, but I think what you did was right. Good for you.
I don't know.
I'll fill in the gap.
I think Huntress should have found the hacker, and they should have like flown to his house, and then giving him the paperwork so he could sign it, and then bring him some donuts or her some donuts or they whatever. Bring them some donuts and maybe a cup of coffee, and then they could talk about the implications of the hacker installing their EDR on their computer system. Then, John, you personally should have given them a user awareness briefing on privacy and what they could have done to protect their data. And then and only then could you take the data off of their computer.
Is that all the GDPR stuff now?
I was going to say, don't spoil the next blog, John.
It's the GDPR. It's the GDPR NG, guys. So
That's the
John,
next
it's just
blog.
something I want you to go back, and I want you to talk to the bigwigs at Huntress, and I want you to let them know that I think that this is John's clearly hiding from a drone strike. I'm not in Poland yet. That's next week. I'll be in Poland. And we're happy to help. We're here to help you guys get better.
Well, I will say,
you know, there's somebody from marketing at Huntress that are like, kill the feed now, John. Kill the feed now.
on a note of some of those things, though, we do have a Huntress sensitive data mode, and I do want to be explicitly clear.
All the hacker has to do is give you their address, and you'll show up with donuts and a subpoena.
But sensitive data mode does disallow security operations centers to task or look at files of a certain type. You just kind of have to ask for that to be turned on. And then, yeah, normally for like compliance and regulation stuff, that removes that question mark. But that is something that's still, part of the education we want to get out the door. Another thing I think we've been laughing and having a little bit of fun with, though, just as you mentioned about, can we get a privacy first EDR, something cash only, Monero, Bitcoin, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
But wait till the internet finds out what pen testers do.
Right. Hey now. Too close to home, John. Too close.
I would never hire a company that pen tested and actually tried to do real hacks. That would be highly dangerous. And
you might get hacked
on the box looking for SharePoint passwords.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Horrible idea.
Not at all.
Privacy nightmare. All right. The other article, I think top of my list at least, is the Jaguar. I'm just going to say Jaguar because I'm American. I'm sorry. If you're British and you're hearing me say that, it's like how I feel when I hear aluminium or I don't know. Anyway,
when you hear it wrong,
I basically Land Rover and another cat-based car company are potentially facing bankruptcy due to the hack crisis. And basically the story here is they've been down ransomware for 2 weeks. They self-burned. They turned off the internet. And the big thing here is the reason I want people's hot takes on this is, so I'm assuming this company is based in the UK, and the UK recently banned paying the ransom. So that's why I'm like, this is kind of a hot take where basically the article says supply chain is going to go out of business. Obviously, there's supply chain way outside the UK, but I guess my thing is like, okay, if the government's going to block you from paying the ransom, and then you get into a scenario like this where it's going to take weeks to recover, should there be some kind of safety net for you? Because like you're not allowed to just pay $100,000 or $200,000 to get your data back. So what do you do?
No, Corey, you cannot do that because that's socialism, and socialism's bad.
No, but it's the UK. It's in the UK. So
This is like
Right,
the
it's-
real
it's
world.
the
Oh yeah,
UK.
because there's no socialism in the UK. Sorry,
This is the
you're
real
right,
world
my bad.
tragedy of the commons, right? Where collectively it's good if not a single one pays,
Yep.
but individually they're pretty much incentivized to pay every single time. I mean, it's the real world tragedy of the commons. And for each individual organization to be like, yeah, probably you should just pay it. But as a whole, it's easier to. The right answer, and try and air quotes, is never pay.
Yeah.
Or sells on a line.
So
And no,
so
no,
should
no,
they
I-
pay for?
it's-
So should the government pay for this company's lost revenue or lost profits or like whatever? Like if they're preventing someone from paying the ransom, should they give anything in return, or is it just a sorry, sucks to suck?
I think it's probably going down the sorry, it sucks to suck, because no one is in a position of authority to actually step in and address the situation. So everybody is going to stand around and watch this go down. And all joking aside, I really do feel bad for the people at Jaguar and what they're going through. It really sucks to be them, like you said. It sucks to suck, but I don't know. I don't know how this positively ends for them. I just don't see. I mean, I hope they work it out. I hope they're like, holy shit! Turns out we did have backups this whole time. Our bad.
So like
We forgot to
But-
look in the backup folder. Oops.
So like there's
Yeah,
there's a
exactly.
few different pieces about this and about
if
that.
they only used Huntress, then Huntress would have all of their shit backed up for them already.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah. So,
No, but if they had Huntress watching their, I don't know, team or something backups, then it'd be fine, right?
I went off
I'm willing
camera,
to
and now I
bet-
have to come back.
Protect
myself.
John was off camera taking a call from Huntress Legal.
I was going to say, you can't talk bad about Huntress unless he's on the call.
Yeah, well, I was going to point out that I didn't notice that he was gone. Still like, oh shit, that seems bad. But once again, no, joking all aside, like this sucks for them. And I really wish there was a way that they could get to a positive end. But if they don't have good backups, if they're not allowed to pay, and there's no government assistance for them not paying, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to burn down one, if not two, amazing legacy brands. And then eventually the UK will get together and find a way to address the situation after its ashes. And that's the part that's the saddest part. I hope that they work it out. If you're on that security team, our hearts go out to you, all joking aside. And good luck, because underneath the hood, you're going to have the security team talking about backups. The security team, I'm sure, was clamoring for all kinds of protections that kept getting shot down by corporate. And it's just their lives are shit right now. And I feel for every single one of them.
It's
not
bad,
very dark
and
of you, Dark John.
It is bad, and I wanna fix a little something that Corey had said. It's not that Jaguar Land Rover, which is like a combined company at this point. It's like GM with their 50 brands, except they're not GM anymore. It doesn't matter. Like
They're
Jaguar
fine,
Land
it's the
Rover.
suppliers.
No,
Yeah, I
Jaguar
got
Land
you.
Rover isn't fine. They're 4% of the entire exports of the UK. Jaguar Land
But they have
Rover
the
being
cash to get through
stuck.
it, though. It's a cash crunch. That's the thing. Like, this
So
is where...
they have the cash. They do have the cash, as far as we know, to not completely go under. But there are a bunch of these other companies that do supply them and don't supply anybody else and don't have any work to do and can't sell anything, which means everything else that goes along with them, that's where they're facing bankruptcy.
That's
And
why I was blown
until
away by, like,
Large
how...
gets themselves back moving. That's so many pieces. Like, think about how much of their export just isn't happening because they're not making any more cars right now because they had to shut down all the systems that run it so that they don't get even more pwned.
Yeah. My thing is, like, I mean, this is where I wanted to ask Tim and John, like, this is a 2-week cash crunch. Our budgets that thin where you have to lay off 40 people after 2 weeks? Like, is that normal, or is this just like an auto supply industry thing? Like, as the owner of a small company, does a 2 week, like if you stop getting paid for 2 weeks, would you just be like, well, we're bankrupt? Like, that seems like a really thin margin to me.
Well, the piece, I mean, like, was it during COVID? Like all these giant companies, they didn't make a bunch of money. Like these giant companies can get their money, and I'm not saying it's simple, right? But how many of these big companies don't have a profit for months or even years, and somehow that's okay? And what do you freaking do about 2 weeks? And I know I'm oversimplifying it, but I just,
Yeah, I guess I don't know how these types of supply chains work, but I was blown away. Like, as an automotive supply manufacturer, supply chain person, I can't imagine how you could just assume that the money comes in, and if it doesn't for 2 weeks, you have to just completely shut down. But I really don't understand how these manufacturing environments work. Like, I don't know. From my perspective, it's kind of, the classic reason why ransomware still works in 2025, because everything's complicated. Oh, sorry, John.
I was just going to say there's a lot of history leading up to this. Like Jaguar and this whole auto group was in trouble before this even happened. This was the absolute worst time for it to occur.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, maybe that's part of the reason why they got targeted, perhaps, is they realized that they might not have had enough money for what they should.
The wounded company is probably an easier target than the, healthy one that has their backups on lock.
But switching that, why would you attack the company that says they have no money? Because you're not going to get a big ransom.
It's opportunistic. They land there. They're like, cool, let's deploy this stuff, see what we can get, right? I want to party on Friday. Maybe we get a couple of bucks.
Yeah. And also, I mean, like Aisling said, the supply chain is the problem, not the company itself will probably survive. They have X number of millions of dollars or whatever. Maybe not, but presumably they will, because like Tim said, you could just be like, oh, another loss. Sorry, shareholders. We need another loan for $200 million. But a, small company who's making widgets or whatever doesn't have that ability.
Yeah, and I doubt anybody that they're letting go is like very specialized, like skilled folks. It's probably just a lot of people that are like less specialized that are getting let go, because that's just, they can find more. And so those are the ones that are going to suffer. I imagine competitors would scoop up anybody that they'd let go if they were very like advanced in that industry. But
either way, this is the first high-profile UK ransomware since they banned paying the ransom. And I don't even know if that ban has gone into effect yet or not, but I mean, it's just kind of
going well,
hot one,
apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the real implication here is the next company, because if these get spun off at a loss, somebody else buys them for cheap. So I think some other GM or whoever the hell it is going to be excited to be like, oh, cool, we can buy him for 50 cents on the dollar.
So GM
and they haven't been doing well. They haven't been doing well for years. I think they've gone bankrupt like 8 times. All right. Has anyone looked into this villager AI thing yet? This is kind of another spicy one. I can't actually tell if this is malicious or not. Like, I genuinely don't know. But basically the article is there's this AI-powered tool called Villager. It's published by a company that isn't really a company based on everything we've seen. It's called CyberSpike. I can't tell if it's just a backdoor or if it's really just a real like a real toolkit that pen testers would want to use. But the downloads are spiking, so people are trying it out. I'm assuming it's backdoored, so I haven't messed around with it much. But basically, supposedly, it's like a pen tester AI MPT or whatever. What is the thing? AI thing that connects all the things?
MCP.
Yeah, that one. It's an MCP client, and apparently it just has 4,000 prompts to do pen testing things and spins up infrastructure containers and then spins them back down. I mean, has anyone messed with this? Any AI people dug into this source code at all or any analysis? Because I want to dig into it, but I also don't know what I'm doing. And
I mean, every AI pen testing tool I've seen is just Nessus with benefits. I have yet to see one that's really not. I don't know. The big thing about a hands-on pen tester, of course I'm biased, right, is that the smart pen tester takes pieces, puts them together, and the AI at least doesn't do that yet, and they just generate a report and call it a pen test. It's your age-old fancy crappy pen testers. Old man rant over.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree. I think that's a pretty reasonable rant. The thing is, every blog about it says, oh, it has 4,000 hard-coded prompts in it for pen testing things. I'm like, what are they? I want to know what they are.
It has 80,000. I mean, okay, cool.
I know. I just want to know, like, is it run nmap against and then just every IP address? I don't know. Like
that just sounds like almost like a vibe code. Like you could go to Claude Code and be like, "Hey, write 4,000 prompts for pen testing different things." Go, and then you pay Anthropic like $500, and then there you go. You got this new tool. It's so, I mean, it's
With the whole non-deterministic thing, doesn't that mean it's got like infinitely many possible tests, and you never know if you're actually going to get coverage?
Well, that's deep, man. That's deep.
Yeah. But for like the vibe pen testing, like there are companies out there that passes their checkbox, and then they can say like we did a pen test and it was AI powered. We did an AI powered pen test and we passed with flying colors because it just does rudimentary stuff.
Yeah. I mean, well, Jira is AI powered now. And so, I mean, that hasn't fixed a whole lot with Jira. So AI
Dude,
powered
I don't know what you're
things.
talking about. I thought someone was just plagiarizing, or not plagiarizing, but like vandalizing all the articles by just underlining random things. I was like very confused. I don't know what's happening, but someone's just coming into my Confluence and underlining things that I don't understand why they're underlining them or who's underlining them.
I sent a ticket to a SOC customer and it did that for BHIS. So if they wanted to know who we were, they could click it and it would define us for them.
But does it actually?
Thanks, yeah.
So does it actually?
It did.
Okay.
If I clicked it to see like, why are you doing this? Are you going to get it right?
I would have guessed
it was actually pretty okay at defining us. I did all right.
Yeah. I don't know. Basically, I guess if nothing else, let the villager thing be a warning to not like download it and mess with it. I'm assuming it's backdoored.
Yeah. With how many packages are just getting
files.
popped and like backdoored and everything, I'm scared to download things now.
Yeah.
I don't want to download anything anymore. I just want to have my computer off all of the time. I think that's really just the only way to do it.
You know what you should do, Hayden, is you should download the Huntress free trial.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, one thing that Huntress has clearly demonstrated is if there's evil on that box, they will find it. So I mean,
that's true. I was also blown away by the
they
fact
can have
that they
that for
even
free.
have a free trial. Like, not that many companies do a free trial these days.
Well, it clearly worked out for Huntress in this case too.
I do wonder how much like the marketing team at Huntress is like looking at this and like, man, this is actually good press for us, because people were like, damn, look what they got. So,
yeah. Does anyone have any articles they want to bring to the group? Anything
I think I've done enough to this podcast today. I think I've done plenty.
But what about CISA going, no, we take it back?
Oh, for the CVE stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
No, we didn't mean to defund MITRE. We didn't want that to die. It's ours. How dare you touch?
I think they have new management in and everything's on fire. And they're like, you all did what now? So
it does
there's
sound
going to be a
that
book
way
someday that comes out for what happened at CISA, and it's going to be a great book because that was bad there for a while, and it's dangerously close to politics when we start talking about that. So I don't know, we might skip that one, but I'm glad that they're coming back. That's good. Let's just hope that they come back, and then it isn't 2 weeks from now like no, we're getting rid of all of this.
So, okay, like, I don't actually know. Are they basically saying we're taking this away from MITRE and we're bringing it in-house? Is that what they're saying? Or like,
they posted a blog that's a vision statement, so it's super vague anyway in a lot of respects. But their basic position is, CVEs should not be something controlled by some sort of coalition of different entities who have, prior interests and might push particular agendas. The government should do it. And that's us. We said a thing earlier this year and we took away money and we don't mean it anymore. We were confused.
There was talk of cutting that program. And now they're like, well, we should keep it.
I mean, they got to remove all the woke CVEs, though. I mean, come on.
See, there we go. Right into the politics. Just straight into it. Just right there.
All right,
gotta go
that's
back
all the
over to
politics for
Discord and watch
today.
it
Thank you
blow
for
up.
listening.
Yeah. And with that, that's the end of Black Hills Information Security talking about news.
But seriously, though, I mean, there are certain products that, if they have CVEs in them, could affect a very certain, population. Control over that. I don't know.
Or the other thing about it is, hypothetically, I think, one of the main concerns is some companies will have better connections than other companies, and maybe their CVEs don't get published. And I think that's one of the concerns about this, is at least from what I've been talking to people about.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a great example of where, like, I do think the government should probably be funding this and making it neutral and
Agreed.
non-biased and impartial. Like, it really should. It's a public service. There's millions of products, or possibly billions of CVEs that needs to be. That's like public good, and no one could afford this on their own, right? Like, CrowdStrike's not going to fund the CVE program or whatever. So, although it wasn't even that expensive, I think we talked about it in the show, it was like $90 million or something, like a classic like GDPR fine for a tech company.
Right. Like, that's just a normal Tuesday for Meta for doing something, probably.
It's like 15 minutes for like stealing people's Wi-Fi or something.
Wait, there's free Wi-Fi to steal? Wait, where is this Wi-Fi?
John's like, can I connect?
the
Where's
Wi-Fi?
the password?
Can I get some of that Wi-Fi?
Where's the Wi-Fi? Are you hiding it,
Yes.
Corey? Like,
Yes, if you
so
I like how you still have your webcam on, John, even though it's just a purely black screen. Yes, if you connect.
they're keeping it on Corey for reasons unknown.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
John's
Wi-Fi
progress
in my
to the
house.
dark side is complete.
Yeah.
it is now complete.
Any other articles?
I thought one that was interesting from a incentive perspective was the Qantas one. So the Qantas one was the executives had their bonuses cut by 15% following an attack in July. Like, you want to incentivize people to care, you start taking away literally millions of dollars from them.
Nice.
I love that idea, but unfortunately, 15% across all of them was only $500,000 Australian dollars.
Oh, so then they don't get this. But still, I mean, 15%.
That needs to jump up.
That's a lot.
I don't care how much money you make. 15% is, you notice the difference in the check.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that, you want to incentivize at the top. Like, you start hitting the bonuses at the big dogs who are incentivized by bonus more so than their salary.
Right.
I thought that was an interesting take.
And then a security investment in the company is also an investment in their bonuses. So that's like how they're not only going to fund it, but they're going to do it correct and make sure they're going to try and make sure it's done correctly, at least more so than maybe before.
I definitely think that's a good mechanism. That's the lever to pull. If you want, like, that's a rare case where CEOs having a significant chunk of their pay being bonuses actually benefits the shareholder. So, I mean, we got to touch this chicken article real quick just because we have one. So,
Crack it open.
Which, for those of you that don't attend the show regularly, this is going to be very confusing to you. But basically, we talked about it last. I want to be clear here. I am making this up. However, last week we talked about how we bought some eggs from Russia. Okay, and now this week we get an announcement that Roseacre Farms, which is the second largest producer of eggs in the U.S., is hit by ransomware. So, I mean, my question is, number one, did they just send the ransomware in the eggs?
What is that ad? What is that ad? Why? What does it do?
No.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm more interested in that.
I will say I'm also on the same page as you, and I want to click it, but I also know that you're not supposed to click it. But it's a great example.
Every time you hover, it's counting how long you're hovering on that.
Anyway, after this, I'm going to go put a bunch of foil in my toilet
and see what happens.
But I mean, it's the classic, like, chicken with the fish head sticking out of it with the cigarette in its mouth being like, has scientists gone too far?
with the tinfoil in the toilet, maybe. I think that one might be too far.
All right. That wasn't a real article.
Oh my
Does
God.
it-
Oh, I'm sorry. I just gotta hang on. There's an image farther down on that article, and it is amazing because there is a pull down in the screen cap for this image, and it is one gang selected.
Tell me you're browsing the internet without Pi-hole, without telling me you're not using
No.
Pi-hole.
See, I have
Oh, no.
Pi-hole. This is like they roll their own Cyber News.
Oh, no.
I've seen it.
This
They roll
is-
their own ads.
I don't
They
see
have
any
like
of it.
their own ad network.
You need to update. Did this place get shut down? By the way, are they still running? I don't see an article where it mentions one way or the other.
Just like one gang selected
I
last
don't
12
know.
months. It's links. Look at all that curve.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I don't know if they're affected. I mean, they're a chicken operation. How many computers could they possibly need? Like 3?
Yeah, but that's what we say with everybody, right? Like,
You know,
get the
you
logistics.
say that, but there's like feed automation systems, and then you're right, all the logistics
logistics
nonsense
piece is
for
the piece that's
sending
broken.
it places.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does, none of the articles say, but it seems like the answer is no. They might not even be aware that they have been ransomwared.
Because the chickens are still laying eggs, so they're like, okay.
The chickens are still laying eggs. I mean, they posted the data. Usually when they post the data, that means they didn't get a response from the company, right? Like usually that means the company's not engaging with them. There's no articles about their, although I will say, I don't know how much transparency there is in like egg supply chains. It's possibly that like this company's been down for weeks and no one knows.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna
how
say, what
would
are they
you
gonna
know?
post? Like, we'll post your data. Okay, like our chickens are laying eggs. Here's how many eggs. What other data do we have?
What's funny, if you
They
read
have
through,
secrets.
if you read through this article, they don't mention whether they're down or not, but right in the middle it says, meanwhile, last week's attack on luxury automaker Jaguar, blah, 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 blah. Like, we don't know if these guys are down for
eggs.
screw that Jaguar Land Rover.
I mean, this is every cybersecurity news article. You take one post on breach forums, then you try to write 15 paragraphs about it, and you end up somewhere in between.
Yeah, and 18 of those paragraphs are AI.
Any other
Yeah, it
final
looks that
articles
way.
before we close? I will say the undocumented radios one, just that phrase, undocumented radios. I feel like that would be a good, first of all, punk band name, undocumented radios. But second of all, it's kind of spooky. Basically, this is a US DOT thing or Transportation Department thing. Solar-powered highway infrastructure, including chargers, roadside weather stations, traffic cameras, should be scanned for the presence of road devices, such as hidden radios, secreted inside batteries and inverters.
Didn't we have something like this a few years ago with Wi-Fi?
Yes,
because I
think
remember
it was
us
cranes.
talking
It was
about
cranes.
Yeah,
there
we
was
were talking
like
about it.
there was undocumented radios in like Chinese cranes and U.S. and they were worried about like supply chain impacts. I just imagine guys in high-vis jackets walking around like random roadsides being like, is this documented radio or should I just unplug it? Like, I don't know how you're supposed to tell looking at like
The thing that was
solar, I don't
An
know.
asset
right.
tag.
So the thing that was bonkers to me about this is they put battery units in these because they're just little solar stations in the middle of nowhere. They have to put inverters in them, and they're like, and there's a radio wrapped inside the battery unit. I'm like, I mean, that's where I would put it to make sure it has power to work at all. But also, what?
Yeah.
Well,
And,
and
I'm just going through, going, how are like, what kind of signal are we talking about?
My
And
guess is
a bunch of these are Bluetooth.
My guess is it's all telemetry, like batteries dying. Come fix this. Like I can't. I mean, they show the picture of a crosswalk sign. Like, what is it going to do? Blink more? Or
Yeah.
like,
That one, that's not as much of a concern. Honestly, like even roadside weather stations, I'm not as concerned with. Like, what are they going to do? Be like, oh, there's no weather. Like, I don't. But you know, the traffic cameras, I guess. Although most of the traffic cameras are just public. I don't know. I'm sure this is just a government directive thing where they're trying to make sure there's not like Huawei radios or whatever inside of our stuff. But like, I don't know.
I did read back to like some of the linked articles for back in May where it was discovered, and they reached. I believe it may have actually been like UK researchers that found these and reached out to the U.S. Department of Energy, the U.S. Department of Energy says we continually assess the risk associated with emerging technologies, and we take a look at like the software bill of materials and the inventories, and it's like, but if what was being said earlier is that it's like they're just, the radios are right there around the battery. It's like, how did somebody not notice if they're doing that bill of materials and checking out those contracts, going like, hey, your bill of materials doesn't say a radio, but there's clearly a radio in here. Care to explain, or maybe just ban that vendor and go like, hey, you're installing radios and things and leaving that off the documentation, and that's suspicious.
I think it's just that level of scrutiny probably not happening to a $15 flashy boy on the side of the road, right? Like, I'm assuming this is real. This is like really a scale problem.
Well, I don't get. I mean, my short answer is, so what? Like, some of you are probably thinking like, well, what about the stoplight? No, the stoplights have a whole different interconnect that the second something happens, the light starts to blink. Like there's a protection mechanism to prevent it from turning everything green, like in Die Hard. Like, okay, so somebody puts some interesting thing, zombies ahead. I mean,
but it's a communications hop, and I think one of like the unfortunate things is that like, military bases have stoplights, or they have stoplights near them. So if you had a radio that was near enough to your target, you use that as a hop. Just like I think there's the story of the internet connected fish tank that that adversaries used to rob a casino. So it's going to be the same type of thing, being like you have an internet connected, solar powered traffic light that is now, near your target or near a casino, and data is being exfiltrated through that with the hops.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
that would make sense in thinking about it from a radio perspective.
Yeah,
with the size batteries that we're talking about, we can't be talking about a large wattage system, so it's not communicating over a large area or anything like that.
Well,
it has to be either doing something. It has to be doing either a very low data transmission to go ahead and permit the battery to extend for a long period of time, or it has to be in some sort of mesh, which again, it needs a lower power, a lower amount of telemetry coming through it. You're not talking about large amounts of data. I mean, if you take a look at something like LoRa with your Meshtastics, the amount of data that it can go ahead and process before it will kill a battery is very minimal overall.
Right, but bear in mind when we're talking about these batteries, we are talking about devices with little solar panels so that they have power and battery to make them last the night, and maybe a day or two for a tech to come out and fix something if it broke, without losing your little flashing light that makes sure everybody knows this turn is really sharp. So like, if that happens to be co-located on top of a base or somewhere that's actually worth the corporate espionage, then okay. But if it's a radio signal that's going to get you to a cellular modem, are you actually going to be able to get in and do the level of software radio tuning on that device to be able to go hop across bands and start doing anything remotely Wi-Fi like with it? Are you crossing your fingers that even though it's got Bluetooth in it, so you've got 2.4 gigahertz, you're now going to convince that to do Wi-Fi instead so that you can hop in? Because otherwise, like, I'm real curious how you're going to get a Bluetooth-based local telemetry device that somebody uses when they're coming in to check the health of the device because it's been 6 months, and using that to get enough range to get in a building that you happen to be installed next to be able to do anything.
Well, someone in chat mentioned like it could be used. They did say traffic cams and weather stations. So someone mentioned it could be used to like monitor people's comings and goings, like TPMS or other like wireless standards or things. But I mean, I think overall it's a policy thing. I don't think there's no documented attacks using this, and this has been a problem for years. Even the Chinese cranes article from 2 years ago, it was just like the exact scenario that Alex was talking about, which is they bought a crane. It didn't have a wireless radio listed on the bill of materials, but it came with the wireless radio, and they were like, WTF. And the manufacturer was like, that's for future upgrades in the future or whatever. So it's like, there's no documented hacks with this. I think it's all theoretical.
Yeah, that's what the article sort of said, is it was mostly just kind of something that was there, and they don't think it's anything that's being used for evil or could be used for evil. But
it's banned.
Yeah,
but it's banned.
Yeah, it says like
It's too expensive to go get rid of it.
China might be taking these over, but we really don't have any idea why. Is the short version.
Yeah,
That's part of our
So we
strategy
banned
is
it.
waste their time.
Meanwhile, our ISPs also being taken over, but no action needed.
I mean, if you want to see the traffic, go to Google Maps. It's way better.
That's the
Or
little
just go to
government
the
banner on those
traffic-
things.
the traffic cams are public on every state's website. Anyway, I think that's a good place as any to kill it. Thanks for everyone for coming. I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.